I'm triggered. This question is triggering because the beginning of my career as a pro vocalist was marred with by a lot of critique, harsh critique of me not giving enough. I get it. My first opera, I killed the audition. Non fin 잘 farfallone amoroso, non ti son, non ti tonno shirando, delle belle tabando rbosona. Yeah, I was in it, right? I was really in it. Better than what I'm doing now. I'm out of practice, but you get the idea. Fast forward to the actual show. I remember my understudy saying, "Man, Eric, your voice is getting better and better every performance." And the director goes, "Yeah, and his acting's getting worse and worse. I'm never hiring you again." And not only was I not hired again by him, I didn't even get to complete the run. He let me go. This is matcha green tea, by the way, for people who care. So he let me go, like before, like 3/4 of the way through. So teachable moment, because when I watched the video back, because some of this was on VHS tape, which unfortunately was lost to Hurricane Katrina, I really wish that I still had that tape. I would gladly embarrass myself and show it to you. But when I watched the tape back, I realized that I looked scared, I looked amateurish. My voice, if you closed your eyes, I was vocally on par with everyone else. But I was so concerned with coming off as looking silly or extra that I just looked amateurish and like or even apathetic a little bit, like I didn't really care, like I wasn't really trying. So it happened again. It happened again when I signed with For Real Talent, the management agency that I mentioned in the previous video. One of the first things that they did was hired Rakis Dewan, a performance coach who had worked with all these big names, because they were like, "You're not giving enough." Because I wanted to just, she gives me love, 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 crazy love, give me love, love, love. I just wanted to close my eyes and run away. And the whole management team was like, "Yeah, it's not gonna work, man. You got to show up. You've got to be here. You got to engage." It happened again. After I left For Real Talent, I joined the Dream Tour with Crystal Silva. I was an opening act for Crystal Silva, pop artist. I'll flash something on the screen of her. And the team was like, "Look," I remember one of the managers was like, "Eric, I think you have the voice of God, but the performance needs work. Your presence, your stage presence needs work." See, again, video was my best friend, and this is part of my answer to you. I felt like I was like, God, like being super, like musical theater. That's why I really feel triggered by the whole, I don't want to come off as musical theater. I thought the same thing. I didn't want to look like a Disney, riff-raff, street rat. I don't buy that. If only they'd look closer. I was so worried about overdoing it that I ended up severely underdoing it. All my movements, when I saw myself on video, I was underdoing it. I was underdoing it physically and underdoing it emotionally. So I know I was talking a lot about like performance, and you were specifically inquiring about the vocals, but I think it's very interconnected. So here's my 3 pieces of advice. Number 1, look at yourself on video. I think that by looking at a video recording, you can hear and see yourself through a more objective lens. And I think very often we realize what we think we're giving is not what we're giving. And I think it really helps to ground you in reality and go, "Oh, it felt like it was so big or too much vocally or too much physically or expression wise. And really I wasn't giving that much, or maybe it was too much, etc." So really look and listen to recordings. I think, because when you're in it, I think it's really hard to get an accurate read of where you're coming from. Number 2, I think it's really important to get into a mind-body practice like yoga, qigong, gyrokinesis. I find that instead of just yapping at my vocalist all day about like, I need you to feel it more and be authentic and find balance, I find that people who are concerned about like overdoing it, underdoing it, which I've been both, we're typically disconnected from our bodies and we're trying to manage our image, and we're at our weakest that way, because overdoing it is like, I gotta prove something. Underdoing it is I gotta protect something. I gotta protect my image. I don't wanna be seen as too much. I don't wanna look silly. I'm not gonna sound crazy. So that's when we're at our weakest as artists, which brings me to number 3. What you can do right now is try to focus on telling the truth, or your truth. Like, just tell the story. I feel like if we're worried about overdoing it, underdoing it, we're already in the wrong place. The story I told in the previous video, my mindset was not on telling my truth. It was on proving myself. And when I was underdoing it in the opera and on stage, I was worried about protecting myself. The audience was my enemy. You people here on the internet were my enemy, and you were trying to critique me and pick me apart, and I'm not going to give you anything to use against me. If you think of how when you're speaking from a place of conviction or peace, like with a close friend or a family member or something, you don't overthink, okay, how am I going to tell my husband, my wife, my girlfriend, mom, dad, best friend this? You just speak and you trust that your intention will offer the appropriate coloring. I think that when you're performing from a place of authentically prioritizing the message, naturally you will find that happy medium. Authenticity is the antidote. So once you've done all your training and all that stuff, the final stage is, let me share this. And it doesn't have to be super deep. It could be you and your girls going out to the club or like, I don't know, it could be something jokey, but just really be in it and just tell the truth. If you are honest, it will never be too much. It sounds like a Disney Channel kind of answer, like just be yourself. But like if you are really telling the truth, it will hit just right, I promise you.